When we think about autism, we often think about the challenges first. Difficulty communicating with others, maybe repetitive behaviors, or even sensory challenges. Teachers and professionals are often looking for the challenges as they identify needs and supports. Parents are often discussing the challenges as they seek to understand why their child's development is so different. Sometimes we all get caught up in the challenges. However, it's important to take a moment and adjust your perspective. Sometimes it's important to reframe the situation and start thinking about a child's strengths and interests. Imagine if all of our lives revolved around all the things that were difficult for us. I know I wouldn't enjoy that kind of life. Focusing on abilities nurtures confidence and hope in everyone. The individual with ASD is the same. Understanding and integrating strengths and interests instills a sense of belonging, a pride, and purpose. It also improves self-esteem and feelings of self-worth. Every person deserves to feel a sense of pride in their abilities and a sense of involvement in their families and their communities. We know that individuals with ASD can positively contribute through their abilities. By seeing these positives, we start off on a more dignified and respectful approach to improving someone's quality of life. This helps us understand how valuable such strengths and interests are to the individual with ASD, to their family, to their classrooms, to their future employers, and to their communities. Finally, understanding and incorporating strengths and interests may help an individual with ASD compensate for their challenges and maximize their potential. Encouraging and even utilizing strengths early on helps individuals with ASD focus on their abilities and may even assist in expanding interests into careers. If we want individuals with ASD to reach for the stars, then we have to start thinking about strengths and interests first. There are 4 steps to understanding and using strengths and interests. First, as we've already discussed, adjust your perspective. 2, observe strengths and interests. 3, investigate when necessary. 4, incorporate as much as possible. We've already discussed the very first step in this process, which is to reframe the situation and start seeing the positives. This means recognizing certain characteristics as strengths. This includes visual thinking, attention to detail, pattern recognition, strong memory, and intense focus. It also means broadening your list of possible strengths to also include things like thinking outside the box, truthfulness, talents for language, both written and spoken. Adjusting your perspective also includes embracing a wide range of interests. People with ASD may have interests that are more familiar to you, such as an interest in math, or art, science, history and politics, sports, and even animals. But an individual may also have passionate interests in topics that are not as familiar. For example, I know an individual with ASD who has a tremendous interest in clocks, another who has memorized all the bus and train routes in his town, and another with a passion for music in G major, and another with an interest in lawnmowers. The second step is to presume competence. We often hear that an individual does not have any strengths or interests. To presume competence means that you believe an individual is capable of various skills and has strengths and abilities. For those with ASD, we must always remember each person is an intelligent and capable human being with many skills and talents. We should always presume competence first. Everyone has strengths. Everyone has interests. This includes people with ASD. The third step in understanding strengths and interests is to observe the individual. Observation may provide a wealth of knowledge about this individual's strengths and interests. Sometimes it is very obvious what an individual's strengths and interests are, and at other times it takes a little more information. Start with observing the individual. While observing, record information including, but not limited to, when does the individual positively respond to different activities, items, or attention? How often does the individual positively respond to these things? In what settings or situations do strengths and interests emerge? What is the individual drawn to in different environments? In our next step, we'll want to dig a little deeper and investigate different strengths and interests. In this situation, you'll need to gather more information about the individual with ASD. This may require conversations with parents and caregivers, siblings, educators, related service providers such as speech therapists or occupational therapists, peers, or even coworkers, who all may be able to provide more information about what this individual likes and things that he or she is good at doing. You can start by asking more direct questions like, what are the individual's strengths and interests? But sometimes families and professionals aren't always sure. In that case, be sure to ask more probing questions like, what does the child enjoy doing or talking about? How does the individual like to spend their time? What activities are they drawn to? What toys or gifts are often purchased for this individual and why? What makes them happy? Has anything surprised you about this individual? Finally, the last step is using what you have learned. When you learn more about an individual's strengths and interests, incorporate these throughout the day, in different environments and with different activities. Be sure to comment positively on these and to celebrate the individual's strengths and interests. Make sure the individual also understands that these strengths and interests are valuable. After all, we encourage and praise strengths and interests in others all the time. Why would it be any different for the individual with ASD? Incorporating strengths and interests can also include using them throughout the day to help maximize potential, matching peers with similar strengths and interests to foster meaningful relationships, motivating the individual throughout difficult tasks, encouraging engagement in a variety of activities, and used as part of positive reinforcement. Remember, we all have strengths and interests. The individual with ASD is no different. Sometimes these strengths and interests are obvious. Other times we have to dig a little deeper and investigate for more information. Everyone wants to have his or her strengths and interests recognized. This includes people with ASD.